What's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about something that on my channel I find interesting, and that would be payroll taxes. Yesterday, President Trump signed orders aimed at extending some of the pandemic relief after Congress fails to reach a deal. So, warning for this video, I'm going to say the words Democrat and I'm going to say the words Republican, and I know for some of my viewers that will trigger them. All I can do is give you my opinion and basically back it up with the math. And I know my viewers, not all of you are going to agree with me, but I feel like this needs to be discussed because not a lot of people understand what exactly are payroll taxes and what does payroll tax relief actually mean. Let's start by going over the specifics and what we know from the executive order that President Trump signed. And if you're not familiar, every paycheck you get about 7.65% of your wages subtracted to pay for Social Security and Medicare. 6.2 for Social Security, 1.45 for Medicare. Your employer actually has to match that amount as well, so it's like 15.3%. And the memorandum that the president signed is basically deferring your payroll taxes through the end of the year. He said it would be retroactive from July 1st. I'm not sure how that will work if you've already received your paychecks for July and maybe August already. But he's saying he wants it for the back half of the year, so 6 months of payroll tax relief. And this is only on income up to $100,000 a year, or if your check is $4,000 biweekly. Now, there's specific rules to Social Security where you stop paying that flat rate once you get above $137,700. But for the specifics of this video, we're just going to pretend like everybody watching this video is making $100,000 a year or less. So let's do some math. Once again, Social Security, 6.2% of your check, Medicare, 1.45, total 7.65 in payroll taxes. President Trump wants to defer this to the end of the year, meaning that it won't be taken out of your check through December, but then in January, you're going to get a bill and you're going to have to pay the full amount. I'm pretty confident that what's going to happen is all the amount of money deferred through the end of the year will then just be forgiven. I think they should just cancel it now if that's their plan, but you can't say that. You have to say it's deferred, even though you know I'm pretty confident in January nobody's going to be paying this back. And I want to contrast payroll tax relief with the strategy of stimulus checks. Just give everybody money. Does that help the economy? Which is better for the economic recovery or getting us through this pandemic? Stimulus checks or payroll tax relief? So with payroll tax relief, if you lost your job, if you're unemployed, if you were laid off, you get nothing. There is no benefit to you if you are out of work because of this pandemic from payroll tax relief. The next class of people are minimum wage workers. If you work 40 hours a week at $15 an hour for 52 weeks a year, then you're making about $30,000 a year. Now, you're only going to get this deferment for the second half, so you can divide your total salary by 2, multiply it by that 7.65, and for somebody earning $30,000 a year, they would be saving $1,147 for the second half of the year. However, this savings that you get is going to increase the more money you make. So let's pretend that you're a school teacher making $60,000, divide your income by 2, you're going to save $7.65 on $30,000 worth of income. Your tax savings will be $2,295. And this payroll deferment goes all the way up to income earners earning $100,000 a year. Divide that by 2, 50 for the last 6 months, times 7.65. Someone making close to $100,000, which includes myself, by the way, they will be saving $3,825. So let's go ahead and stack it up. Unemployment checks, who benefits from that? People who are unemployed. The Democrats want to maintain $600 a week. President Trump just signed an executive order giving $400. Now, unemployment checks help the people who need the money the most, but it does nothing for the other income earning brackets. Now, Republicans are making the valid argument that to pay somebody $600 a week to not work is unfair to the tens of millions of people working minimum wage jobs who do work and make roughly about $600 a week. We're not going to get into the philosophy of a living wage in this video. I'm just illustrating of who benefits from these different aspects of stimulus attempts by our government. Now with stimulus checks, everybody is just given money, $1,200, $2,000, $1,000 a month, whatever the government wants to do. People who are unemployed benefits, people who work minimum wage jobs benefits, middle class people benefits, and rich people benefits. Stimulus checks are effective and benefit everyone immediately. Payroll tax cuts, on the other hand, you can just look at how it stratifies. It doesn't help unemployed people or people who have lost their jobs at all. It's basically the same amount as a $1,200 stimulus check for minimum wage workers, except they're only going to be getting a small amount every month spread out for the rest of the year. You could just give that person $1,200 now, but instead you're going to get like a couple hundred a month or $200 a month for the last 6 months out of the year. Middle class working professionals are going to get a little bit more, $2,200, and then people making six figures, they're going to be saving the most money, $3,825. Except there's one group that we haven't discussed yet who actually benefit the most from payroll tax cuts, and this is employers. So there is an employer match of 7.65 for every 7.65 an employee pays in. There's no way to get out of or get around this tax. So it's just a fact of life. If we want Social Security or Medicare to exist to help give elderly people security in retirements, which some politicians and a lot of Americans don't, but it's something that we've had since the New Deal 90 years ago. And let's do an example to demonstrate how absurd payroll tax cuts are for companies like Walmart. So let's pretend Walmart had about 100 employees that they were paying $15 an hour. They don't do that, but let's go ahead and assume they pay 100 people $15 an hour. That's $30,000 a year. They're going to be saving on tax roll deferments, which will eventually be forgiven or canceled, 7.65% per employee. So a single Walmart store, given these fictitious numbers, would save $114,750. How many Walmart stores are there in America? There's 4,756. Multiply that by the payroll tax savings per store, and a corporation, a company like Walmart, will save $545,751,000. So $500 million in tax savings for our nation's largest companies. Now, of course, the conservative Republican argument is this is a good thing. If companies can save more on taxes, then they will create more jobs. They will hire more employees. This is a philosophical economics debate. I personally fall on the side of consumer demand drives the need to hire more employees. If a company thinks it can make more profits by hiring more employees because demand is so high, they will do so. But just saying, let's eliminate taxes, and then out of the kindness of their hearts, these corporations will just hire more people. Yes, to a certain extent, I think if taxes were lower, they would be able to support more employees or higher employee wages. But I think consumer demand drives employment more than tax rate. And if I can just get real with you guys for a second about what I have learned from the world of finance and investing, is a large company like Walmart, if they're going to save $500 million on taxes during a pandemic, a recession, a slowdown, I think they're going to favor protecting their dividend payout to the investors of their corporation. I think they're going to favor protecting executive salaries and executive bonuses over maintaining their workforce. I think if there's more profit to be made from closing a store or laying off an employee because there isn't a consumer demand, they're going to take this tax savings and then just protect their shareholders. So let's do a quick recap of the payroll tax cuts. If you're unemployed, you lost your job, this doesn't benefit you at all. If you're working class, then you basically getting close to what a stimulus check would be, but it's spread out over 6 months, so you're going to get it slowly. If you're middle class, then you're doing better. Once again, paid out slowly over time, but you're still beating the minimum class workers. And if you're making close to $100,000 a year, you're sitting pretty, saving an extra $3,800. You can invest that back in the stock market. Honestly, that's what I'll be doing. And if you're a large corporation, then your dividend payouts are going to be protected. Your executive salaries are going to be protected. Potentially as well, you can keep more of your staff. You won't have to lay off as many people. That is ultimately the goal from Republicans when they make this argument. However, it's a mixed bag. I personally think just do stimulus checks. Just to give everybody $1,000, $2,000, whatever amount of money, and that should drive consumer demand through the rest of this pandemic. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Once again, with these memorandums and executive orders that President Trump has signed, we don't have all of the details yet. This was all done yesterday, so we don't know the specifics of how these deferments will be implemented, how it can be retroactive from July 1st, what employers will do, will this be challenged in the courts, what will the courts decide? There's a lot to this still yet to unpack, and we don't have all the information yet. But I will do my best in the future, potentially, to make another video to update people once I know something definitively. And until then, we'll just learn together. If you enjoyed my video, please give me a thumbs up so the algorithm knows it's good. In addition, consider subscribing to my channel. I talk a lot about finance and investing. If you have any questions or comments, leave me one down below. I will try to help if I can. And until the next video, take care.